Hi and welcome back. It's another exciting day here at IWS, another cold day at IWS. Today, as I had mentioned on the interior video, is real exciting for me because I get an opportunity to walk you through the coach that we built for me and my family. And we've decided to go ahead and offer this coach up for sale because we're going to pull our race car around the United States this summer, and we're going to need to get a lot bigger trailer, so it's going to require that we go to tandem axles. So we've made the decision to sell this coach, but more importantly, I get the opportunity to walk you around and show you that everything we've been talking about all these years is the exact same stuff that we use on our own coach. This coach here we affectionately call our Signature Series because it's a coach design that we've worked really hard on, and I'm proud to put my name on it and put our company's name on it. This shot right here is really a good stopping point to stop and tell you exactly what we've done. So the cab on this coach is a Freightliner Cascadia, and they offer that coach in two styles. Style number one is called a 125 Cascadia, and from the back of the cab to the front bumper, it's 125 inches long. So if you were to look at the side of this coach, imagine the front wheels being 12 inches farther forward and the hood 12 inches further forward. What we did is we ordered in what's called the Freightliner Cascadia 113. The reason we did that is because we were able to get a 12-inch shorter hood, move the front axle back, we greatly increased the turning radius, and then the 12 inches that was wasted on the hood, we were able to add into the coach portion. But one of the things that we had to do is we had to be very selective with the power plants, and we had a great customer out of Alabama who owned a fleet of trucks, over 50 trucks, and he really talked to me a lot about the Detroit DD13 engine and how much it meant to him and his fleet. When we spec'd out his motorhome, he chose this exact same chassis, so he really got my attention. So I started doing a lot more research on the Detroit engine, and everywhere I turned, everybody just said, what a great engine. So I went ahead and put it in this coach, and incidentally, I just put the same exact power plant in my new coach. It's just a fantastic engine. So by going to the DD13, it's a little bit shorter than the Cummins ISX, so we're able to use the shorter hood, increase not only drivability from a turning standpoint, but from being able to see out over the hood. You can see it's just an incredibly short hood. It's very easy to see. It's easy to get in and out of. I can just go on and on. But we're going to go ahead and tilt the hood up on this coach and talk a little bit more about this beautiful DD13 engine. One thing that, as you're researching engines, some of the things to look at is cost of ownership. So on this engine, the oil change intervals on normal duty is 50,000 miles. So you'll be changing the oil just based on years rather than mileage. I tell everybody one of the worst things you can do to these coaches is not drive them, because this engine has a B50 life rating of 1.2 million miles. And what that means is Detroit has proven that over 50% of these engines went over 1.2 million miles without any major engine failure. And that's just incredible. So this is a published statement in all of their brochures that the B50 life rating is 1.2 million miles. I've driven this coach 15,000 miles. We've been averaging a consistent 7.5 miles to the gallon. I run down the freeway at 75 to 80 miles an hour. Our speed limit out here is 80 miles an hour. It just boogies on down the road. Has a 3-stage engine brake on it, and this isn't no compression brake. This is a full-on 3-stage engine brake. If you want some more information, we can get you brochures. We have a real nice letter from Oshkosh, who builds fire trucks around the world. They wrote a letter to Detroit saying that they are switching all of their fire trucks over to the DD13 engine because of its reliability and serviceability. This engine makes 470 horsepower and has 1,650 foot-pounds of torque. Freightliners calculated or designed this particular chassis to go 1,000,000 miles towing 80,000 pounds. It's just a fantastically well-built tractor, and that's why I put it on my coach. Another thing we did is we installed wireless tire pressure monitors, and this is just a close-up of the sensor. You can monitor that from the dash inside. That's an IWS feature that we do here. Not only does it tell you the tire pressure, but it also tells you the tire temperature. You can also see we went with the larger 315 front tires on this coach. It has an 18,000 pound front axle. I wanted the biggest axle we could get in it. The other thing that I want to draw your attention to is these hydraulic jack legs. And the reason it's so important is I want you to notice that Renegade uses on this coach, we had them put in the large square jack leg tube. Then the hydraulic cylinder runs inside. And what that does is it really gives the leg a lot more stability than just pushing straight down on a round cylinder. You know, as I was traveling around RVing, it got really frustrating to crawl under the motorhome and put a big plastic pad or a wooden block underneath it so that your pads didn't dig into soft soil. So we went ahead and took off the stock pads and put larger steel pads on the bottom, and we upgraded our stiff legs so I don't have to crawl underneath it anymore. Another neat thing to point out about the Renegade stiff legs is they're hydraulic down and hydraulic up. I've had a coach before, and some of the other coaches out there will use stiff legs where they power down, but they use a spring to lift them up. And if you ever push a stiff leg through the soil, the spring may not be enough to lift it up, and it can be very frustrating to be stuck in one spot with your stiff leg stuck into the ground. So it's nice to have that powered feature. Now we're going to begin our journey around the outside of the coach, and as you can see, the slide out's coming out. I also want to draw your attention to the paint on this. This is just an absolutely beautiful 4-color paint job, which has a double clear coat on it. But as we move around the coach, I really want to draw your eyes to the lines and how the graphics onto the side of the coach actually continue on inside of the slide out. So when your slide outs are out, your coach looks as good as when they were slid in. As we move around to the coach, we're going to start with the driver's side, or what the industry calls the street side storage compartments. And we're going to start up here at front, and you're going to see some of the little touches that I did on this coach. So in the very front storage compartment, I installed a air hose bracket that we make here at our shop. So there's an air hose so you can air up your tires on it. This compartment also holds the upgraded 8D coach batteries in it. It also holds the chassis cab batteries in it. Everything's nice and organized and easy to get to. Here you have the inverter storage compartment. This has a 2800 watt inverter. It's a pure sine inverter, and it's enough power that on the batteries alone we can run both TVs, we can run the microwave in the evening, coffee pots, so it seems to work out really nice. You'll also notice in this compartment we have the controller mounted for the 2 rooftop solar panels, which is really nice. So if you leave your RV outside, it's always charging and maintaining the batteries. Just a really nice feature. Another thing to point out as we move along in these storage compartments, you'll see the gas shock on the door. That's not a Renegade feature, that's an IWS feature. We've installed the gas shocks on all of the doors so that they hold open if the wind's blowing outside. Now we're going to move around into the septic compartment, and there's an awful lot to talk about here. So the first thing that I want to point out is we installed a 110 outlet and a 12 volt outlet in this compartment. And the reason we did that is in the winter, if you're really in a severe winter climate where you're in below zero weather, you can put a 110 or a 12 volt heater in this compartment and it's already pre-wired. Another thing to point out that we've done in this compartment is that we had Renegade spray what's called ceramic temp coat inside the entire compartment. And you can look up the videos on YouTube, it's incredibly impressive stuff. But it's 20 mil thick, and they spray this ceramic coating inside of here, and what it is an insulation to help keep this compartment warm. Now I do want to point out that we've also, and you can't see it in the video, but Renegade's installed heating strips underneath the storage compartment so you can use them without an additional heater. Now we're going to move up and talk about the macerator system, and as you can see, it has this small blue hose which you use for dumping out your sewage. I believe the hose on this coach is about 25 feet long, and the way this works, on a typical coach, you'd normally have the 3-inch black gravity drain hose, and I kind of chuckled to myself when I'm staying at RV parks. You watch, everybody get out and put the black hose on, and I used to do it myself, and you put out the slinky and you put the hose at grade. It's kind of just messy, it's kind of just a pain. Well, when you go to the macerator system, what happens is you get a drive motor down there, and it grinds up and emulsifies all the waste product, and it pumps it through this little, must be about 1.5 inch diameter little blue hose. So it's really neat. All you do when it's time to dump is you take your hose out, stick it into the sewage deal. Half the time I don't even thread it on, I just set it on there. You turn on the pump and it pumps the sewage out. Another neat feature is, like, we stayed in Washington up at the hydroplane races into a boat race, and what happens, you're there for 4 days and the honeypot truck drives along, and you can take this hose out and pump it uphill and pump it into the tanks, and then off they go. Just a fantastic feature. And by the way, it is on my new coach as well. Now we're going to move into the water management compartment and sewage management area. We're going to start out on the lower left and talk about some of the added features that we've done on this, and mainly that's the water spigots there. They serve 2 functions. The first one is as a low point drain. So in the winter, if you want to drain the water out, you just open them valves up and the water will drain out. So it's a great low point drain. But we also had them plumbed so there's a hot and cold pressurized spigot. So if you want hot water outside the coach, you just thread your hose on it, and there you have it. It's just a really nice feature. Sure been nice when you're washing out in fishing coolers or things like that. Then we have the switch for the flow jet, which is the macerator sewage. Once you've hooked your blue hose up to the septic, you just turn that switch on and it does its business. Then we have the black tank dump valve, then the gray tank. Then we have the black tank wash, and what that is inside of the black tank there's a sprayer. So periodically you'll hook a fresh water hose onto that and it'll run, and the sprinkler will run inside of the black tank and wash all the icky stuff out. Then you have a real straightforward lever. City water's up, and if you want to fill the tank, this coach is equipped with 150 gallons of fresh water inside. You just flip that lever to tank fill. Coach also has a cable TV connection. If you don't want to run the satellite and you're at an RV park with cable, you can make the connection right there. I went through this fairly fast, but I think this compartment is very straightforward. But the thing that I really want to point out is that this is all laser cut. So the spray away, the black tank dump, all of that are all laser cut into the metal. So years down the road, all of them are still going to be visible. Now we're going to move back another compartment, and you'll see this is where we house the 12.5 kW Cummins Awning generator. The reason we upgraded to the 12.5 kW is because we wanted to run 3 air conditioners in the coach and still have plenty of excess power. If we want to run another trailer or plug into another coach, they can get power off of us. This is just an exceptionally well-built generator. I think you should just put hour after hour on it. Awning suggests that you don't start the generator and run it just for 10 minutes here and there. They want you to run it at least 2 hours at a time, because basically this is a tractor engine. They want you to start it up, get it up to temperature, and use it. It wouldn't be uncommon to put several thousands of hours of use on this generator, so it's something you shouldn't be afraid to use at any time that you want. You can also see here we have the remote fill. So on this coach we put the large propane tank up underneath the frame rails. And the only thing on this coach that is propane though is the furnace, and it would not be uncommon to use this thing for months on end without ever needing any propane because it is so well insulated. We did our IWS Arctic insulation package on this, and then also our soundproofing system in it, so the coach it's just incredibly well insulated. Now we moved into the back compartment. As you can also see, I've mounted another hose rack for our water hose holder. This coach, we put the power retract shore power cord reel on it. That's sure a mouthful to try to say, but it's exceptionally nice. When you plug into the, to an RV park and you want to put the cord away, you just push the button and it winds the cord up. You see here, Renegade's done a nice job of putting these nice roller fair leads on it so the cord rolls in and out. We also installed an additional 110 outlet and also a 30 amp RV plug at the back of the coach. I just really believe in having all of these neat little accessory options everywhere. Now we're going to move around to the back of the coach, and you can see we installed our IWS full width mud flap. We also installed the heavy duty ladder on this coach. We've talked about that in a lot of videos, the importance of having a nice quality ladder. This ladder is designed for a 200+ pound person to go up and down if you need to get up on the roof or anything. When you get up on top of this roof, you're way up in the air, but we have a lot of customers that will sit up there and watch races from. I got to tell you to do it at your own risk, but I do want to point out that this is a full walk-on roof. We've done photos and videos where we have 20 people standing on top of these coaches. They're just so incredibly well built. Another thing I want to point out on this coach is that we've mounted the backup camera up high. You'll also see the clear scene light right there, or security light. There's 5 of them on the coach. And these things, boy, if you hear something at night, you can flip all 3 switches on and these lights are just going to blast the surrounding area 300-400 feet out. We put them on individual switches, so if you're out here at night trying to hook onto your trailer, you can just turn that light on and it'll illuminate it. Another cool feature on this coach are the strobe lights, and I think at the time we were filming this, it was below 0 outside, so we didn't want to stick around at night, so we went ahead and pulled the RV inside of the shop here, and I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the upgraded safety features that I feel we've done, or that we put on this coach, that I think are very useful. Perhaps it comes from my days of towing, but if I'm out on the freeway and everything comes to a full stop, I want to be able to hit one switch and have this thing light up so everybody knows that I'm disabled. As we look at these lower lights, not only are they strobe lights, but when you just turn your marker lights on, there are additional marker lights along the bottom of the coach. I really felt that was important. But the guys in the shop have also created their own controller to take your marker lights and turn them into strobe lights. And here, as you can pan around, it strobes the roof lights, the lights along the bottom, and then up in the front grille we installed supplementary strobe lights as well. Here's a nice shot of the LED driving lights. It's hard to show how bright these things are in the camera, but boy, I would sure recommend them when there's nobody else on the highway. But it's sure nice, when you pull into a campground at night, you're in all the trees, you can flick them on and have tons of light. Now we're going to go ahead and show you the trailer hitch. Also show you the LED lights. I've talked about this, and what I like about the LED lights that Renegade uses is they're lights you can typically find at any auto parts store. There's nothing super special about them or exotic. So if you have a light go out, you can fix it in just about any town you go to. The trailer hitch on this coach, because it's a single rear axle, is rated at 20,000 pounds tow. We've installed a 2x2 receiver hitch, so it's very easy to flat tow your pickup off of. You can also see that we've got a connector on there if you want to flat tow your vehicle. We've left all the braking system inside of this coach. Now as we move around to the passenger side, or the curbside as they call it in the industry, we're going to open up the storage compartments and quickly walk you through them. All the compartments on this side of the coach are all storage, but I do want to point out something. So this back compartment here, we manufacture a propane bottle rack, and I've installed it on the door, but one of the concerns with propane bottles is if there's ever a leak, the vapors are going to fill the box up. We've installed vapor holes in the bottom and put water vents on them, so that if the propane bottle should ever leak, the propane is going to travel and go through them holes and escape the compartment. Now as we move to the next box forward, you can see that I've installed E-tracking along the walls. This is where I would store up my picnic tables, and then you can use that cargo strap to secure the tables or anything you want, or you can just remove the cargo strap if you don't want to use it. E-track is a really nice functional system. It's really easy to grab them connectors and pull them out and move them around. It's just become It's just a handy way to tie things up so they're not rattling around in your storage compartment. Now as we move along to the door, I guess it's the Boy Scout in me, huh? I hate to go anywhere without a shovel, an axe, and a rake. And you know, using these fast grips are something we've used on tow trucks for years. They work great. It's just a real nice place to get things up and out of the way. In this compartment, you can see that we've installed a shelf up high, and this is where I like to put my fishing rods. Again, this is an IWS feature, not a Renegade feature. We also mounted a small step ladder to the door. You know, the interior height of this coach is 7 foot 9 inches, so if you ever need to get up high for anything, it's nice to have a step ladder. I used it a lot just when I stopped at a truck stop to be able to wash the windshield, and we wanted to mount it in a nice out-of-the-way place. The next compartment up, you can see here Zach's pulling out the fridge freezer. What's really neat about this is if you don't want to use it, you can just pull it out and leave it at home. But doing a lot of tailgating, I really have come to enjoy this thing. You know, you can freeze fish in it, you can put your beer, drinks in it, and just use it as a refrigerator. It's just super handy. It's got nice carrying handles on it. If you want to just, you know, carry it down to the beach, you can. And it really just saves having to pack ice all the time. Another little feature that I did is we mounted the step and the floor mat right on the door right there for the entry step. It's just a nice place to have it. When you park somewhere, you can just open that compartment and put it there. Now we're going to go ahead and run out the awning, and this is the latest and greatest awning by Mirage. This is a Mirage Carefree 2-stage awning, and what's real neat about it is when you get on a high coach with a straight out awning, a lot of times the sun comes in underneath it. With this awning, it comes out and then it drops down. You can also notice there's LED lighted lead rail along the front, so it's really nice in the evening. We also installed the 32-inch outside entertainment center. This has a Sony stereo and speakers. It has a DVD player. It also has an MP3 player, so you can plug in your iPad to it. We also installed an additional 110 outlet outside. We like to use the little electric Traeger grills. It's nice to have power out there. Just overall, couldn't be more tickled with this coach, and I think that anybody that buys it is going to be 100% satisfied. For me, I'm kind of a picky guy, and that's something I've been really striving for over the last 4 or 5 coaches that we've owned, is getting everything we want into one, and I think on this coach we've absolutely done it. For some of you, maybe I went too fast, and for some I didn't get this over fast enough. But I can assure you, if you want to know more, just pick up the phone and give us a call. With all my heart, I want to thank you for spending some time with us and watching this video. Hope to see you soon. Thanks again.